My dear friends, imagine, if you will, a world where everything you desire manifests at precisely the right moment. A world where your deepest wishes and grandest dreams unfold with perfect timing, orchestrated by a division intelligence far greater than our limited human understanding. This is not mere fantasy, but the very nature of our reality when we align ourselves with the eternal truth of our being. Tonight we shall explore the profound concept of divine timing and how it relates to the manifestation of our desires. We will delve into the depths of consciousness and uncover the power that lies dormant within each of us, the power to shape our reality through the creative use of our imagination. Let us begin by understanding that time, as we perceive it in our physical world, is but an illusion. In the realm of spirit, where all creation originates, there is no past, no future, only the eternal now. It is in this timeless dimension that all possibilities exist simultaneously, waiting to be brought into our experience through the power of our consciousness. Many of you may be wondering, but Nebel, if all possibilities exist now, why don't I see my desires manifesting immediately? The answer, my friends, lies in the divine wisdom that governs the unfolding of our lives. Just as a seed planted in the ground requires time to germinate, grow, and blossom into a beautiful flower, our desires too have their own perfect timing for manifestation. Consider for a moment the intricate tapestry of your life. Every experience, every encounter, every seeming obstacle or delay is a vital thread in this grand design. What may appear as a setback or a period of waiting is, in truth, a necessary preparation for the fulfillment of your desire. It is during these times that we are being molded, refined, and made ready to receive that which we have asked for. Let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This simple yet profound teaching is the key to aligning yourself with the divine timing of your desires. When you assume the feeling of already possessing or experiencing that which you seek, you set in motion the forces of creation. You are in essence planting the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. But here's where many falter. They plant the seed, and then in their impatience, they dig it up repeatedly to check if it's growing. My friends, would you do this with a physical seed in your garden? Of course not. You would plant it, water it, and then trust in the natural process of growth. The same principle applies to the seeds of your desires. Trust is the water that nourishes the seeds of your imagination. It does not waver in faith that what you have conceived in your mind and felt in your heart is already yours in the realm of spirit. This trust allows you to release the anxiety, the doubt, and the constant question of when and how your desire will manifest. Now let us explore the concept of divine timing more deeply. In the infinite wisdom of the universe, there is a perfect orchestration of events leading to the fulfillment of your desires. This divine timing takes into account not only your individual readiness, but also the intricate web of circumstances and people involved in bringing your desired fruition. Imagine, if you will, that you desire a specific job or position. You may feel ready for it now, but perhaps the person currently holding that position needs more time to complete their own journey, or perhaps certain skills or experiences are yet to be acquired, which will make you not just suitable, but exceptional in that role. The divine timing ensures that when you step into that position, it will be at the absolute perfect moment for all involved. This is where patience becomes a virtue of immense power. Patience in this context is not a passive waiting, but an active state of joyful expectation. It is a calm assurance that your good is on its way, coupled with the wisdom to enjoy and make the most of your present moment. Remember, my dear friends, that your external reality is but a reflection of your internal state. If you find yourself constantly anxious, frustrated, or doubting the arrival of your desire, you are inadvertently pushing it away. These negative states of consciousness create resistance and delay in the manifestation process. Instead, cultivate a state of peaceful acceptance and gratitude. Be thankful for what you have now and for what is on its way. This attitude of gratitude aligns you with a frequency of abundance and opens you up to receive even more goodness in your life. Let me share with you a powerful technique to reinforce your trust in divine timing. Each night as you lay in bed, review your day as if all your desires have already been fulfilled. See yourself living the life you dream of, feeling the emotions associated with having your wishes granted. As you drift off to sleep in this state of fulfillment, you are impressing these images and feelings upon your subconscious mind, which knows no difference between what is imagined and what is real in the physical world. This nightly practice consistently applied will begin to shift your entire consciousness. You will find yourself naturally aligning with the circumstances and opportunities that lead to the manifestation of your desires. Doors will open, seeming coincidences will occur, and you will marvel at the perfection of the divine plan unfolding in your life. Now let us address a common concern. Many of you may be thinking, but what if I've been waiting for years? What if I've lost hope? My dear friends, let me assure you that it's never too late. The power to change your life exists in this very moment. Your past thoughts and beliefs have created your present circumstances, but your present thoughts and beliefs are creating your future. If you have been waiting for a long time, it simply means that you have been out of alignment with your desire. Perhaps you have been focusing on the lack, the absence of what you want, rather than the presence of it in your imagination. Remember, what you focus on expands. If you focus on waiting and lacking, you will experience more waiting and lacking. The solution is simple, yet it requires practice and persistence. Shift your focus entirely to the feeling of having a desire, but do it live from the end as if your wish has already come true. There's not denial of your current reality, but rather a conscious choice to align with a new reality that you prefer. Understand that every moment is a new opportunity to align with your desires. The power of now cannot be overstated. It is in this present moment that you have the ability to choose your thoughts, your feelings, and consequently, your reality. The past does not define you unless you allow it to. Your future is not determined by your history, but by your imagination and your faith. Let us now explore the concept of divine timing in relation to the law of attraction. Many teachings focus solely on the power of positive thinking and visualization, but they often overlook the crucial element of divine timing. While it's true that our thoughts and feelings are creative forces, the manifestation of our desires is not always instantaneous. This delay between our wish and its fulfillment serves a higher purpose. It allows for the perfect alignment of all elements necessary for the realization of our desire. It also provides us with the opportunity to grow, to become the person capable of receiving and maintaining the state we desire. Consider this: if every wish were instantly granted, we would miss out on the valuable lessons and growth that come from the journey. The process of manifestation is as important as the end result. It shapes us, refines our character, and deepens our understanding of ourselves and the universe. Moreover, instant manifestation could be chaotic and potentially harmful. In our limited human perspective, we may desire things that are not in our best interest or the best interest of others. The divine timing ensures that our desires manifest in a way that serves the highest good for all involved. This brings us to an important point: the alignment of our will with the divine will. When we trust in divine timing, we are essentially surrendering our limited human perspective to a higher wisdom. This doesn't mean we become passive or fatalistic. On the contrary, we become active co-creators with the divine, allaying our thoughts, feelings, and actions with our desires while remaining open to guidance and synchronicities. The art of allowing is a crucial aspect of trusting in divine timing. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that we must struggle and strive to make things happen. We think that if we're not constantly doing something, we're not progressing. But in truth, some of the most powerful manifestation occurs when we step back and allow the universe to work its magic. Allowing doesn't mean inaction. It means inspired action. When you're in alignment with your desire and trusting in divine timing, you'll feel naturally inspired to certain actions. These actions will feel effortless and joyful, unlike the forced and stressful actions that come from a place of lack and desperation. Let's explore this further with an example. Suppose you desire a loving romantic relationship. The conventional approach might be to frantically search for a partner, going on numerous dates, and feeling increasingly frustrated with each disappointment. But when you trust in divine timing, your approach is entirely different. You begin by assuming feeling of being in a loving, reliving relationship. You appreciate and love yourself fully, knowing that you are complete and all on your own. You engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. You cultivate meaningful friendships and connections. In essence, you become the person who is ready for the relationship you desire. From this place of self, love and fulfillment, you remain open to many new people, but without the desperate energy of needing to find the one. You trust that the right person will come into your life at the perfect time, and openness when you least expect it, and love find you. This principle applies to all areas of life: career, finances, health, personal growth. When you combine the power of your imagination with trust in divine timing, you set the stage for miraculous manifestations. Now, I want to address those of you who may be facing challenging circumstances. Perhaps you're dealing with financial hardship, health issues, or relationship problems. It's easy to feel discouraged and wonder why your desires haven't manifested yet. But I urge you to see these challenges as opportunities for growth and preparation. Every experience, no matter how difficult, carries within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Your current circumstances are not your final destination. They are stepping stones to your desired reality. Use this time to deepen your faith, to practice living from the end, and to cultivate gratitude for what you do have. Remember, the outside world is a reflection of your inner world. If you want to change your circumstances, start by changing your inner conversation. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, direct your attention to what's right. Instead of complaining about what you lack, appreciate what you have. This shift in focus will begin to transform your reality from the inside out. Trust that everything is working out for your highest good, even if you can't see it right now. The universe has a plan far greater than anything you could have been for yourself. Your job is not to figure it all out, but to keep your vibration high and your faith strong. Let's delve deeper in the mechanics of manifestation of divine timing. Understanding this process can help strengthen your trust and patience as you wait for your desires to materialize. Everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts and feelings emit specific vibrations that attract experiences of matching frequencies. This is the essence of the law of attraction. When you hold a desire in your mind and heart, you are emitting a specific frequency into the universe. Now, here's the divine timing comes into play. The filament of your desire requires the I minus energies and circumstances. It's like a cosmic dance where multiple elements need to come together in perfect harmony. This alignment doesn't always happen instantly, which is why there's often a gap between your wish and manifestation. During this gap, it's crucial to maintain your faith and continue to emit the frequency of your desire. Many people make the mistake of getting discouraged during this period and reverting to lower vibrational states of doubt, fear, or frustration. This misalignment can delay or even prevent the manifestation of their desire. Instead, view this gap as a gestation period. Just as a baby needs time to develop in the womb before it's ready to be born, your desire needs time to gather all the necessary elements for its physical manifestation. Trust that during this time, unseen forces are at work, orchestrating events and aligning circumstances in your favor. Moreover, this period of waiting is not meant to be passive. It's an active time of preparation and alignment. Use this time to become the person who is capable of receiving and maintaining your desire. If you're manifesting financial abundance, for instance, use this time to develop better money management skills. If you're manifesting a loving relationship, work on self-love and emotional healing. Remember, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. By embodying the qualities and vibration of your desire, you become a perfect match for its manifestation. Now let's address another important aspect of divine timing, the concept of divine order. Sometimes we may be fixated on a specific desire, not realizing that the universe has something even better in store for us. Trust that if something you desire is delayed or doesn't manifest, it's because something more aligned with your highest good is on its way. This requires a level of surrender and trust that can be challenging for our ego-driven minds. We like to be in control, to know exactly what's going to happen and when, but true mastery lies in surrendering to the flow of life while maintaining a clear vision of what we desire. Imagine you're floating down a river. You can see your destination in the distance, but instead of frantically paddling and exhausting yourself, you allow the current to carry you. You make small adjustments to stay on course, but fundamentally you trust in the flow of the river. This is how we should approach the manifestation of our desires. Clear intention combined with trust and allowance. Let's now explore some practical techniques to strengthen your trust in different time. The first is mindfulness meditation. By practicing present moment awareness, you learn to detach from anxious thoughts about the future or regrets about the past. This allows you to fully inhabit the now where all your power lies. Another powerful technique is visualization. Spend time each day vividly imagining your desire as already fulfilled. Engage all your senses in this exercise. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? The more real you can make it in your mind, the more you impress this reality upon your subconscious. Affirmations can also be incredibly effective. Create positive statements that reinforce your trust in divine timing. For example, everything is unfolding perfectly to divine timing. I trust the process of life. My good comes to me at the right time in the right way. Repeat these affirmations regularly, especially when you feel doubt or impatience creeping in. Gratitude is another crucial practice. By appreciating what you already have, you shift your vibration to one of abundance and receptivity. This makes you more aligned with the frequency where it desires. Each day, time to acknowledge the good in your life, no matter how small it may seem. Journaling can be a powerful tool for maintaining faith and tracking your progress. Write about your desires as if they've already manifested. Detail the emotions you feel, the experiences you're having. This not only impresses these experiences upon your subconscious, but also serves as a record of your journey, which you can look back on to see how far you've come. Now I want to address a common pitfall many fall into when working with the law of attraction and divine timing, the trap of constant monitoring. Just as you wouldn't dig up a seed every day to check its progress, you shouldn't constantly be checking for signs of your desire manifesting. This constant checking comes from a place of doubt and lack, which can actually push your desire further away. Instead, once you clearly set your intention and align your energy with your desire, release it. Trust that it's on its way and go about your life with joy and purpose. This doesn't mean you become completely detached or indifferent to your desire. It means you have such unshakable faith in its manifestation that you don't need constant reassurance. You know it's coming just as surely as you know the sun will rise tomorrow. Another important to remember is that divine timing often works in ways we don't expect. Sometimes what looks like a setback or a delay is actually setting the stage for something far greater than we initially imagined. Trust that even if things aren't unfolding exactly as you envisioned, they are unfolding for your highest good. For instance, you might be manifesting a new job. You apply for what you think is your dream position, only to be rejected. This might seem like a failure or a sign that your manifestation isn't working. But perhaps this rejection is actually redirecting you to an even better opportunity that you weren't even aware of. Trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense to your logical mind. It's also crucial to maintain a state of receptivity. Often we become so fixated on how we think our desire should manifest that we miss the signs and opportunities the universe is presenting. Stay open to unexpected possibilities. Your desire might come in a package you didn't anticipate. Remember, the universe often exceeds our limited imagination. What you're manifesting might be far greater than what you initially conceived. By staying open and receptive, you allow the universe to surprise and delight you with its infinite creativity. Now let's talk about the role of action in the manifestation process. While trust and allowing are crucial, they don't need the need for action. The key word here is inspired. When you're in alignment with your desire and trusting in divine timing, you'll feel naturally inspired to take certain actions. These inspired actions feel good. They energize you rather than drain you. They feel like flowing with a current rather than swimming against it. Pay attention to these impulses and act on them. They are often the universe's way of guiding you towards the fulfillment of your desire. However, be wary of action taken from a place of fear or lack. If you find yourself frantically trying to make something happen out of fear, then it won't manifest. Otherwise, step back. Reconnect with your trust in divine timing. Remind yourself that everything is working out perfectly, even if you can't see how right now. Another important aspect of divine timing is the concept of divine order. Sometimes we're fixated on a specific desire, not realizing that the universe has something even better in store for us. Trust that if something you desire is delayed or doesn't manifest, it's because something more aligned with your highest good is on its way. This requires a level of surrender that can be challenging for our ego-driven minds. We like to be in control, to know exactly what's going to happen and when. But true mastery lies in surrendering to the flow of life while maintaining a clear vision of what we desire. Consider this. Have you ever looked back on a disappointment or perceived failure in your life, only to realize later that it led you to something far better? Something far better. This is divine order in action. What seemed like a setback at the time was actually a setup for something greater. Cultivating trust in divine timing also involves the development of impatience. In our fast-paced instant gratification, society can feel like a lost art. But patience is not passive waiting. It's active trust. It's the calm assurance that everything is unfolding as it should. Think of patience as a muscle that needs to be exercised. Each time you choose trust over anxiety, each time you choose to enjoy the present moment instead of hating on the future, you're strengthening your patience muscle. Remember, every master was once a beginner. If you find it challenging to trust in divine timing, be gentle with yourself. Like any skill, this trust grows with practice. Start small. Practice trusting in small, everyday matters before tackling your biggest desires. As you deepen your trust in divine timing, you'll notice a profound shift in your overall well-being. Anxiety about the future diminishes. You'll find more joy in the present moment. Your relationships improve as you release the need to control outcomes. You become more resilient in the face of attachment setbacks, knowing that everything is working out for your highest good. Moreover, this trust opens you up to receiving more good than you ever imagined. When you release the tight grip of control and open yourself to the infinite possibilities of the universe, miracles become your new normal. In conclusion, my dear friends, remember that everything you desire will indeed come at the right time. Trust in the divine timing of your life. Know that the universe is working tirelessly on your behalf, orchestrating events and aligning circumstances for the fulfillment of your desires. Your job is to hold steady in your faith, to live each day from the state of your wish fulfilled, and to remain open and receptive to the infinite ways your good can come to you. Trust, allow, and watch in awe as the magic of life unfolds before you. Every desire you hold in your heart, is a promise of its fulfillment. The very fact that you can conceive it means it's possible for you. Your desires are not random, they are divine inspirations, calling you toward your highest expression. Remember always, the world is yourself pushed out. Every person you encounter, every relationship you experience, is but a reflection of your own consciousness. The attachment you feel to others, the fear of being alone, these are nothing more than states of consciousness that you have accepted as real. But I say to you now, with all the conviction of my being, that true happiness, lasting fulfillment, comes not from outside yourself, but from within. Let us begin by understanding what it truly means to let them go. This is not about physically pushing people away or cutting ties with those you care about. It is about releasing your attachment to the idea that your happiness depends on them. It is about recognizing that the love, joy, and fulfillment you seek from others are already within you, waiting to be expressed. When you cling to others for your happiness, when you make your joy dependent on their presence or approval, you are denying your own divinity. You are saying to the universe, I am not enough on my own. I need this person to complete me. And the universe, being a perfect mirror, will reflect back experiences that reinforce this belief. But I tell you this, you are complete. You are whole. You are the operant power in your reality. The happiness you seek is not something to be found or gained, but something to be remembered and expressed from within. Imagine now, if you will, a state of being where you are perfectly content, perfectly at peace, perfectly happy, all on your own. Feel this state as vividly as you can. Feel the quiet joy that permeates your being, the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from within. This is your true nature, your God self expressing itself fully. As you embody this state, you will find that your relationships begin to transform. No longer burdened by neediness or fear, you become free to love others unconditionally without expectation or attachment. This is the paradox of letting go in releasing your grip. You open yourself to deeper, more authentic connections. Now, let us deeper input into the concept of being happy alone. This is not about isolation or loneliness. It is about self-sufficiency, about recognizing that you are the source of your own happiness. It is about cultivating a relationship with yourself that is so rich, so fulfilling, that being alone becomes a joy rather than a burden. Begin now to imagine yourself as someone who is completely at ease in their own company. See yourself enjoying solitary activities with genuine pleasure. Feel the peace that comes from quiet moments of self-reflection. Experience the joy of pursuing your passions and interests without needing anyone else's approval or participation. This state of self-sufficiency is your natural state. It is the expression of your God self, the infinite being that you truly are. When you align with this state, you tap into an endless wellspring of joy and fulfillment that is independent of external circumstances or relationships. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about pushing others away or closing your heart. On the contrary, when you learn to be happy alone, you become capable of forming deeper, more authentic connections with others. You approach relationships from a place of wholeness rather than lack, of giving rather than taking. Imagine now a life where your relationships are no longer based on need or fear, but on genuine love and neutral growth. See yourself interacting with others from a place of inner fullness, sharing your joy rather than seeking it from them. This is the natural result of learning to be happy alone. As you cultivate this inner state of happiness and self-sufficiency, you may find that some relationships in your life begin to change. Some may fall away while others deepen and flourish. This is a natural part of the process. Trust in it. For as you align with your true self, your outer world must rearrange itself to match your new inner reality. Now let us address a fear that may arise as you contemplate letting go and being happy alone. The fear of loneliness. This fear is based on a misunderstanding of your true nature. You are never truly alone, for you are one with the infinite. The entire universe resides within you. Imagine, if you will, that you are an ocean. Each relationship, each person in your life is like a wave on the surface of this ocean. Waves may come and go, rise and fall, but the ocean remains vast and unchanging. This is your true nature, infinite, boundless, complete in itself. When you realize this truth, when you align with this state of being, loneliness becomes impossible. But how can you be lonely when you are one with all that is? How can you lack companionship when you are in constant communion with the divine within you? This realization, my friends, is the key to letting go and being happy alone. It is the understanding that you are never truly alone, that the companionship and love you seek are always available to you, for they are your very essence. As you embody this truth, you will find that your need to cling to others diminishes. You become free to love without attachment, to connect without dependency. Your relationships become expressions of your inner joy, rather than attempts to fill an inner void. Now let us explore the practical aspects of letting go and learning to be happy alone. This is not merely a philosophical concept, but a state of being that you can cultivate through consistent practice. Begin by setting aside time each day to be alone with yourself. This is not time to distract yourself with external entertainment, but time to truly be with yourself. Sit in silence, observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Get to know yourself as you would a dear friend. As you do this, you may encounter resistance. Old patterns of thinking, old fears and insecurities may surface. Do not fight them. Simply observe them with compassion, understanding that they are not your true self, but merely conditioned responses that you can choose to release. Practice self-love and self-care. Treat yourself with the same kindness and consideration you would show you deeply care about. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, not to impress others or fill time, but because there are genuine expressions of your inner being. Cultivate your passions and interests. Develop skills and knowledge that excite you. As you do this, you build a rich inner world that provides endless satisfaction and fulfillment. You become your own best company, your own source of joy and inspiration. Remember, my friends, the goal is not to avoid relationships or push people away. The goal is to approach relationships from a place of wholeness and self-sufficiency. When you are happy alone, you no longer enter relationships out of need or fear. You choose to connect with others because you want to share your joy, not because you need them to make you happy. As you practice these principles, you may find that your perception of being alone changes dramatically. What once felt like loneliness now becomes solitude, a peaceful, nurturing state where you can commune with your higher self, with the God within you. Imagine now a life where being alone is not something you fear, but something you look forward to. See yourself relishing moments of solitude, using them as opportunities for self-discovery and spiritual growth. Feel the deep sense of peace and contentment that comes from being completely at ease with yourself. This state of being is your birthright. It is the natural expression of your divine nature. As you align with it, you will find that your entire life begins to transform. Your relationships become more authentic and fulfilling. Your work becomes a joyful expression of your inner being rather than a burden. Every aspect of your life begins to reflect the inner peace and happiness you have cultivated. Now, let us address a common misconception about letting go and being happy alone. Some may fear that this means becoming cold or detached, closing their hearts to love and connection. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you learn to be happy alone, when you release your attachments and dependencies, you become capable of loving more deeply and authentically than ever before. Your love becomes an overflowing of your inner joy, rather than an attempt to fill an inner void. You love not because you need, but because love is your nature. Imagine, if you will, a love that comes from a place of fullness rather than lack. A love that seeks to give rather than to get. A love that enhances your life but does not define it. This is the kind of love that becomes possible when you learn to be happy alone. As you cultivate this state of being, you may find that the quality of your relationships improves dramatically, no longer burdened by neediness or fear of abandonment. You become free to be fully present with others. You can appreciate them for who they are, rather than for what they can do for you. This shift in consciousness affects not only your romantic relationships, but all your connections with family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. You begin to approach every interaction from a place of inner fullness, ready to give rather than to take. Now, my dear friends, I want you to understand something crucial. This journey of letting go and learning to be happy alone is not always easy. It requires courage, persistence, and faith. There may be moments of doubt, times when old patterns try to reassert themselves. When these moments come, remember this: you are not alone in this journey. The entire universe is supporting you. The God within you is guiding you every step of the way. Trust in this inner guidance, for it will never lead you astray. Imagine now that you are embarking on a great adventure. The destination is not some external place, but the infinite realm within you. Each step you take in letting go, in learning to be happy alone, is a step deeper into your true self, your divine nature. As you progress on this journey, you will discover treasures beyond your wildest dreams. You will uncover depths of joy, peace, and love that you never knew existed within you. You will realize that everything you have ever sought in the external world has always been within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. This realization, my friends, is the true meaning of letting go and being happy alone. It is not about isolation or detachment, but about reconnecting with your true self, your divine nature. It is about remembering that you are complete, whole, and perfect just as you are. As you embody this truth, as you live from this state of being, you become a light in this world. Your very presence becomes a reminder to others of their own divine nature. Without saying a word, you teach the profound lesson of self, sufficiency, and inner joy. Imagine the impact you can have on the world when you approach life from this state of being. See yourself moving through your days with quiet confidence and inner peace. Feel the joy that radiates from you, touching everyone you encounter. This is not just a possibility. It is your destiny if you choose to claim it. Now, let us take a moment to address any lingering doubts or fears you may have about letting go and being happy alone. Perhaps you worry that you will miss out on life's experiences, that you will become isolated or disconnected from others. I tell you now, with absolute certainty, that the opposite is true. When you learn to be happy alone, when you release your attachments and dependencies, you become free to engage with life more fully than ever before. You become capable of forming deeper, more meaningful connections because you are no longer approaching relationships from a place of need or fear. Imagine a life where you are free to love without conditions, to give without expectation, to connect without losing yourself. This is the life that becomes possible when you master the art of being happy alone. Moreover, as you cultivate this inner state of happiness and self-sufficiency, you become magnetic to positive experiences and relationships. The universe responds to your inner state, bringing you circumstances and connections that match your new vibration of joy and self-love. Remember, my friends, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. As you transform your inner world, your outer world must change to match it. This is the law of your being, the creative principle of the universe itself. So I urge you now to commit fully to this journey of letting go and learning to be happy alone. Embrace it not as a sacrifice, but as the greatest gift you can give yourself. For in doing so, you reclaim your power, you remember your divinity, you step into the fullness of who you truly are. Begin today, in this very moment, to live from the state of someone who is completely at peace with themselves, who finds joy and fulfillment in their own company. Feel it, embody it, become it in your imagination, and watch as your outer world shifts to match this new inner reality. As you practice this, you may encounter resistance from your old self, from ingrained patterns of thinking and behaving. When this happens, do not fight against it. Simply observe it with compassion, understanding that it is not your true self, but merely a habit of consciousness that you are now choosing to release. Remember always, you are the operant power in your reality. You are the creator of your experience. The happiness you seek, the love you desire, the fulfillment you crave. All of these are already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. As you progress on this journey, you will likely find that your perspective on relationships changes dramatically. You begin to see them not as sources of happiness or security, but as opportunities for growth, for sharing, for expressing the love that already fills your heart. Imagine now a life where you approach every relationship, romantic, platonic, familial, from a place of inner fullness. See yourself giving love freely, without need or expectation. Feel the joy of connecting with others, not to fill a void, but to share the abundance that overflows from your heart. This, my dear friends, is the true meaning of letting go and being happy alone. It is not about isolation or detachment, but about discovering the infinite wellspring of love and joy within you. It is about becoming so complete in yourself that your relationships become expressions of your inner abundance, rather than attempts to find plants. As you embody this state of being, you will find that the quality of your relationships improves dramatically. You attract people who resonate with your new vibration of self, love, and inner peace. Your connections become deeper, more authentic, more fulfilling. Moreover, you become capable of loving others more fully and unconditionally. No longer burdened by neediness or fear of loss, you can appreciate others for who they are, rather than for what they can do for you. You become free to support their growth and happiness without losing yourself in the process. This shift in consciousness extends beyond your personal relationships to every aspect of your life. Your work becomes a joyful expression of your inner being, rather than a means to gain approval or security. Your pursuits and passions become pure expressions of your unique gifts, rather than attempts to fill an inner void. Imagine now a life where everything you do comes from a place of inner fullness, where every action is an overflow of the joy and love within you. This is not just a possibility. It is your birthright, your natural state of being when you remember your true nature. As you progress on this journey of letting go and being happy alone, you may find that your entire perception of life changes. What once seemed like challenges or obstacles now become opportunities for growth and self-discovery. What once triggered fear or anxiety now becomes an invitation to trust in your inner strength and wisdom. You begin to see the perfection in every moment, the divine orchestration behind every experience. You recognize that everything in your life, every person, every situation, Every seeming setback is serving your highest good, helping you to remember and express your true nature. This realization, my friends, is the ultimate freedom. It is the understanding that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your reality. It is the knowing that your happiness, your fulfillment, your peace are not dependent on anything or anyone outside of you, but are the very essence of who you are. As you embody this truth, as you live from this state of being, you become a living testament to the power of consciousness. Your very presence becomes a teaching, a reminder to others of their own divine nature and infinite potential. Imagine the impact you can have on the world when you approach life from this state of inner fullness and self-sufficiency. See yourself moving through your days with quiet confidence and radiant joy. Feel the love that flows from you, touching everyone you encounter, transforming lives without a word being spoken. This, my dear friends, is your true purpose: to remember your divine nature and to express it fully in the world. Letting go and learning to be happy alone is not an end in itself, but a means to this greater purpose. It is the path to becoming who you truly are, to living as the God self that is your true identity. So I urge you now with all the love in my heart to embrace this journey fully. Commit yourself to the practice of letting go, of releasing your attachments and dependencies. Dedicate yourself to cultivating inner joy and self-sufficiency. Begin each day by reminding yourself of your true nature. Before you open your eyes in the morning, feel the completeness, the wholeness, the divine perfection that you are. Carry this feeling with you throughout your day, letting it inform every thought, every word, every action. When you encounter situations that challenge your new state of being, when old patterns of thinking or behaving try to reassert themselves, do not fight against them. Simply observe them with compassion, understanding that they are not your true self, but merely habits of consciousness that you are now choosing to release. Remember always that you are not alone in this journey. The entire universe is supporting you. The God within you is guiding you every step of the way. Trust in this inner guidance, for it will never lead you astray. As you persist in this practice, as you continue to embody the state of someone who is completely at peace with themselves, who finds joy and fulfillment in their own company, you will find that your entire life transforms. Your relationships become more authentic and fulfilling. Your work becomes a joyful expression of your unique gifts. Every aspect of your life begins to reflect the inner peace and happiness you have cultivated. Moreover, you become a beacon of light in this world, a living example of the joy and fulfillment that come from true self-sufficiency. Without saying a word, you teach others the profound lesson of inner happiness and self-love. Imagine the ripple effect you can create in the world as you embody this state of being. See how your presence alone can inspire others to look within themselves, to discover their own inner wellspring of joy and fulfillment. Feel the satisfaction of knowing that by healing yourself, by remembering your true nature, you are contributing to the healing and awakening of the entire world. This, my dear friends, is the true power of letting go and learning to be happy alone. It is not just about personal fulfillment, but about transforming the world from the inside out. It is about remembering and expressing your divine nature, and in doing so, reminding others of their own divinity. As we come to the close of our time together, I want to leave you with this final thought. The journey of letting go and learning to be happy alone is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It is the path to true freedom, to lasting happiness, to the full expression of your divine nature. So go forth, my friends, with courage and determination. Embrace this journey as the greatest adventure of your life. Trust in the process, have faith in your inner guidance, and know that with every step you take, you are moving closer to the full realization of who you truly are. Remember always, you are complete. You are whole. You are the source of your own happiness. Everything you have ever sought in the external world is already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. As you embody this truth, as you live from this state of inner fullness and self-sufficiency, you become a living testament to the power of consciousness. Your very presence becomes a blessing to the world, a reminder of the infinite potential that resides within each of us. Thank you for your attention, for your willingness to explore these profound truths. May your journey of self-discovery and transformation be filled with joy, wonder, and the deep satisfaction of living as your truest, most authentic self. And may you always remember the divine power that resides within you, waiting to be expressed in all its magnificence. Go now and create the reality you desire, for you are the author of your story, the creator of your world. You are, in truth, the very operation of God in your reality. Embrace this truth, live from it, and watch as your life transforms in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. Thank you, and may your journey be blessed with the full realization of your divine nature in the deep, abiding happiness that naturally flows from this knowing. You are the miracle you seek. You are the love you desire. You are, in every moment, the full expression of divine joy and fulfillment made manifest. Go forth and live from this truth, now and always.
Let me share with you what actually happens in consciousness during a 72-hour period following a true change in your assumption. The first 24 hours are crucial, as this is when your new assumption begins to take root in your subconscious mind. The second 24 hours strengthen this new pattern, and by the third day, a complete transformation of consciousness has occurred. Many of you wonder why your manifestations seem to take so long, why your reality doesn't immediately reflect your desires. But I tell you this, there is a specific period of gestation for every seed planted in consciousness, just as there is for every seed planted in the earth. 72 hours represents a complete cycle of transformation in consciousness. Consider this: in Scripture, we read of the 3 days Christ spent in the tomb before his resurrection. This is not merely a historical account, but a profound psychological truth. Every transformation in consciousness requires the 3 days. It's 72 hours before externalization begins. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to manifestation. You stop wondering when your desire will manifest and start understanding the precise law that governs all manifestation. You recognize that time is not an enemy, but a necessary component of psychological gestation. Let me tell you something vital about these 72 hours. They begin the moment you completely accept your desire as an accomplished fact, not when you start wishing for it, not when you start affirming it, but when you actually accept it as done in your consciousness. Here's a profound truth about this 72-hour period. It operates whether you believe in it or not. Just as a seed will take a specific time to germinate regardless of whether you understand the process, your assumption will take approximately 72 hours to begin its manifestation regardless of your conscious beliefs about timing. Think about this. Every major change in your life was preceded by a change in your consciousness approximately 72 hours before its physical manifestation. You may not have been aware of it, but this law was operating nonetheless. This law operates in conscious with absolute precision, transforming your entire world through a specific sequence that unfolds over these 72 hours. Let me break down for you exactly what happens during this crucial period of transformation. In the first 24 hours, something profound begins to occur in your consciousness. The moment you truly accept your desire as an accomplished fact, your entire inner world begins to reorganize itself around this new assumption. Old patterns of thought begin to dissolve, and a new pattern starts to form. Many of you have experienced fleeting moments of acceptance, only to fall back into doubt and disbelief. But I tell you this, If you can maintain your new assumption for just 72 hours, holding it as true regardless of external evidence, you will set in motion forces that manage to manifest in its manifestation. Consider this: when a woman conceives, she doesn't immediately see external evidence of her pregnancy, yet from the very first moment of conception, forces are at work within her body, preparing for the manifestation of new life. The same is true of your consciousness during these first 24 hours. During the second 24-hour period, something even more remarkable occurs. Your new assumption begins to affect your subjective world, your thoughts, your feelings, your natural reactions to events. You begin to think from your desire fulfilled rather than of it. Let me tell you something crucial about this second day. This is often when doubt tries to creep in. The external world may still show no evidence of change, and your rational mind may try to convince you that nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, massive reorganization is taking place. Here's a profound truth about the second day. It's the period of death to the old man. Just as Christ spent the second day in the tomb, this is when your old patterns of thought and belief must die to make way for the new. This can feel uncomfortable, even disconcerting, but it's absolutely necessary. Think about this. Every transformation in nature goes through a period where the old form must die before the new can emerge. The caterpillar must cease to be a caterpillar before it can become a butterfly. The same principle applies to your consciousness during these crucial 72 hours. The very discomfort you might feel during this period is evidence that transformation is occurring. Your old patterns of thought and belief are dissolving, making way for your new assumption to take root and grow. The final 24 hours of this 72-hour period are perhaps the most crucial, for this is when the complete transformation of consciousness occurs. This is the period of resurrection when your new assumption becomes so natural that you can no longer remember how it felt to be in your former state. Let me share with you exactly what happens during these final 24 hours. Your new assumption, which has been gestating in the depths of your consciousness, begins to rise to the surface. It no longer feels like something you're trying to believe, it simply feels like what is. Many of you might experience what seems like a moment of crisis during this final period. But I tell you this, what appears to be a crisis is often the breaking point where the old must give way to the new. It's the darkness before the dawn, the final resistance of the old man before the new man rises. Consider this, in Scripture, it was during the final hours in the tomb that the resurrection occurred, not gradually, not partially, but in one complete transformation. The same is true of your consciousness during these final 24 hours. The transformation, when it comes, is complete. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your experience of these 72 hours. You stop seeing them as a period of waiting and start recognizing them as a sacred time of transformation. Each hour becomes precious, each moment significant. Let me tell you something vital about these final hours. They often bring what appears to be a complete contradiction to your desire. This is what I call the moment of greatest appearance of failure. But remember, appearances are merely the shadow of past assumptions, not the reality of your present consciousness. Here's a profound truth about this final period. It's when your outer world begins to respond to your new inner conviction. Things begin to shift, often in ways you couldn't have consciously planned or anticipated. People begin to treat you differently. Circumstances begin to rearrange themselves. Hike about this, every great transformation in history appeared darkest just before its completion. The crucifixion preceded the resurrection. The darkest hour comes just before dawn. This principle is reflected in your own consciousness during these final hours. The very circumstances that seem to deny your assumption are often the ones being rearranged to accommodate its fulfillment. What appears to be resistance is actually reorganization. This reorganization of your outer world follows an immutable pattern, much like the transformation of your inner consciousness. Just as a seed must break through the soil that appears to resist it, your new assumption must break through the appearances of your current reality. Let me share with you what actually happens in your outer world during this period. People who seemed indifferent to you suddenly become helpful. Circumstances that appeared fixed begin to shift. Opportunities that weren't visible before suddenly present themselves. All of this occurs not by chance, by law. Many of you observe your outer world anxiously during these 72 hours, looking for signs of change. But I tell you this, the changes are occurring whether you can see them or not. Just as a plant grows beneath the soil before breaking through to the surface, your manifestation is taking form before becoming visible. Consider this: when you plant a seed, the soil must be disturbed. Old patterns must be broken up to make way for new growth. The same is true of your outer world during these 72 hours. What appears as disruption is actually the rearrangement necessary for your new assumption to manifest. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your response to external circumstances during this period. You stop being disturbed by appearances that seem to contradict your assumption. You recognize them as necessary adjustments in the grand pattern of manifestation. Let me tell you something crucial about this reorganization. It often occurs in ways that your conscious mind could never have planned. The wisdom of your subconscious mind, which is one with infinite intelligence, knows exactly how to bring about the conditions necessary for your assumption to materialize. Here's a profound truth about this outer reorganization. It follows the path of least resistance. While your conscious mind might applicate complicated scenarios requiring massive changes, your subconscious mind finds the simplest, most natural way to bring about your desire's fulfillment. Think about this. Every desire you hold contains within itself the seeds of its own fulfillment. When you plant that desire in consciousness through your assumption, it begins to attract and arrange everything necessary for its manifestation. This arrangement often occurs in ways that appear miraculous to the conscious mind. The very circumstances that seem to stand in the way of your desire often become the means of its fulfillment. This is the wisdom of the law operating through the perfect pattern of the 72-hour principle. This pattern unfolds in your experience with a precision that would astonish you if you could see it from a higher perspective. Every thought, every encounter, every seemingly random event during these 72 hours is part of an intricate dance orchestrated by your new assumption. Let me share with you what's actually occurring moment by moment during this period. Your consciousness, having accepted the new assumption, begins to attract corresponding experiences. People begin to treat you according to your new concept of self. Circumstances begin to mirror your inner conviction. This isn't coincidence, it's law. Many of you wonder why certain people suddenly change their behavior towards you, why new opportunities suddenly appear, why solutions to old problems suddenly become clear. But I tell you this, nothing is sudden about it. Each change is the result of your shifted consciousness working through the perfect pattern of these 72 hours. After this, when you drop a pebble into a pond, the ripples move outward in perfect circles affecting every part of the water's surface. Your assumption works in the same way during these 72 hours, sending ripples through the entire fabric of your reality, touching every aspect of your world. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your awareness during this period. You begin to recognize every event, every conversation, every seemingly random occurrence as part of the pattern of fathomment. Nothing is meaningless. Everything is significant. Let me tell you something vital about this unfolding pattern. It requires no effort on your part maintaining your assumption. You don't need to make things happen. You don't need to manipulate circumstances. The pattern unfolds by law, not by effort. Here's a profound truth about these 72 hours. They represent a complete cycle of transformation from death of the old to birth of the new. Just as the moon moves through its phases, just as the earth rotates through day and night, your consciousness moves through this perfect pattern of transformation. Think about this. Every great master who ever walked the earth taught the same truth in different words. 3 days in the tome, the third day resurrection, the threefold pattern of transformation. They were all pointing to this same law that operates in consciousness through the center cycle. The very experiences you encounter during this period, whether they appear positive or negative, are all part of the perfect pattern of fulfillment. Nothing is out of place. Nothing is accidental. To recognize and work with this pattern requires a complete reversal of your usual way of thinking. Instead of looking to external events for evidence, you must maintain an unshakable awareness of your assumptions, reality these 72 hours. Let me share with you exactly how to maintain this awareness as the pattern unfolds. When you wake each morning during this period, your first thought must be from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Before your feet touch the floor, before your mind engages with the day's activities, you must renew your awareness of already being who you desire to be. Many of you start your days by immediately checking external reality for signs of change. But I tell you this, the external will not show evidence until the full 72 hour cycle is complete. Your task during this time is to live from your new assumption regardless of appearances. Consider this: when an actor takes on a role, they must maintain that character's consciousness throughout the entire performance. They can't drop in and out of character and expect to give a convincing performance. The same is true of your new assumption during these 72 hours. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your daily experience. You stop living in anticipation of change and stop living from the consciousness of the change already accomplished. This is the secret of working with the pattern rather than against it. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this awareness. It's not about forcing yourself to believe something. It's about allowing yourself to feel the naturalness of your new state. The more natural it feels, the more powerfully the pattern works. Here's a profound truth about these 72 hours. Your every reaction, your every response, your every inner conversation must spring from your new assumption. This isn't about pretending or affirming. It's about actually occupying your desired state in consciousness. Think about this. Every time you react from your old state of consciousness, you interrupt the pattern. Every time you respond from your new assumption, you strengthen it. The pattern requires consistency in consciousness to work its perfect law. The very circumstances that tempt you to react from your old state are actually opportunities to strengthen your new assumption. Each challenge is a chance to prove the reality of your inner transformation. These challenging moments during the 72 hours are not obstacles to your manifestation. They are vital parts of the pattern itself. They are opportunities to prove the reality of your new state in consciousness. Let me share with you exactly what to do when these moments arise. When circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, when people act contrary to your desired experience, when everything appears to be moving in the opposite direction, these are the moments when your new consciousness must be maintained with even greater conviction. Many of you interpret challenging circumstances as evidence that your assumption isn't working. But I tell you this, These very circumstances are part of the bridge of incidents, necessary events that must occur to bring about the fulfillment of your desire. They are not obstacles, but stepping stones. Consider this. When you're driving at night, the headlights illuminate only a small portion of the road ahead, yet you trust that as you continue moving forward, more of the path will be revealed. The same trust is required during these 72 hours. You don't need to see the entire path. You need only maintain your assumption. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your response to challenging circumstances. Instead of being discouraged by apparent contradictions, you begin to welcome them as confirmation that the old patterns are dissolving to make way for the new. Let me tell you something vital about these challenging moments. They often intensify just before the manifestation of your desire. This intensification is not a sign of failure, but a sign that the old patterns are making their final stand before dissolving completely. Here's a profound truth about handling these moments. Your only task is to remain faithful to your assumption. You don't need to fight circumstances, argue with appearances, or try to force changes. Your task is simply to maintain your consciousness of the wish fulfilled. Think about this. Every great manifestation in history was preceded by a period of apparent contradiction. The darkest hour comes just before dawn. The seed must completely break down before the new plant can emerge. These are not merely poetic metaphors. They are descriptions of the law in operation. The very circumstances that seem most opposed to your desire are often being rearranged to bring about its fulfillment. What appears as resistance is actually reorganization. This process of reorganization during the 72 hours follows a precise pattern that, understood, will transform your entire approach to manifestation. What appears as chaos in your outer world is actually perfect order taking shape according to your new assumption. Let me share with you what's actually happening during this reorganization. Your entire world, every person, every circumstance, every condition must adjust itself to match your new assumption. This adjustment often appears as disruption before the new pattern emerges. Many of you become discouraged when your world appears to be falling apart during these 72 hours. But I tell you this, what appears to be falling apart is actually falling into place. The old patterns must dissolve before the new patterns can emerge, just as old structures must be demolished before new ones can be built. Consider this when you rearrange furniture in a room. There's always a moment when everything appears to be in chaos. The room looks worse before it looks better. The same principle applies to the reorganization of your world during these 72 hours. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your perception of change. You stop resisting the apparent chaos and start recognizing it as a necessary part of the reorganization. You understand that disorder is often the prelude to a new and higher order. Let me tell you something crucial about this reorganization. It affects not only your external circumstances, but also your inner world. Old thought patterns dissolve, old emotional responses fade away, old habits naturally fall aside as your new assumption takes root. Here's a profound truth about this process. It works with mathematical precision. Just as water must reach 212 degrees Fahrenheit to boil, just as a seed must remain in darkness before it sprouts, your consciousness must maintain your assumption for approximately 72 hours for complete reorganization to occur. Think about this. Every major shift in your life followed the same pattern. Whether you were conscious of it or not, a change in consciousness always preceded a change in circumstance by approximately 72 hours. This is not coincidence. It is law. The very disruption you experience during this period is evidence that the law is working. Your world is reorganizing itself to match your new assumption with perfect precision. This precision of the law operating through the 72-hour principle is as exact as any law in physics or mathematics. It operates with the same certainty that brings dawn after night, spring after winter, harvest after planting. Let me share with you exactly how this precision manifests in your experience. During these 72 hours, every word you speak, every action you take is either aligned with your new assumption or contradicts it. There is no neutral ground. The law registers everything with perfect precision. Many of you wonder why some manifestations seem to come easily while others appear to resist your efforts. But I tell you this, the law is never working more or less effectively. The only variable is your consciousness, your ability to maintain your assumption consistently throughout the 72-hour period. Consider this. When you drop an object, gravity doesn't sometimes work and sometimes fail. It operates with perfect precision every time. The same is true of this law of consciousness. Your assumption, held steadily for 72 hours, must manifest with the same certainty that a released object must fall. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your approach to manifestation. You stop hoping and start knowing. You stop pleading and start accepting. You stop wondering if it will work and start living from the certainty that it must work. Let me tell you something vital about this precision. It operates independently of your past experiences, your current circumstances, or others' opinions. The law responds only to your consciousness, your assumption maintained over these 72 hours. Here's a profound truth about this precise operation of law. It works the same way for everyone, every time. Just as mathematics doesn't play favorites, just as gravity doesn't discriminate, this law operates with perfect precision for anyone who applies it correctly. Think about this. Every successful manifestation you've ever experienced, whether consciously or unconsciously, followed this precise pattern. The law didn't bend or make exceptions. It's simply outpictured with mathematical precision whatever you assume to be true. The very precision that seems to work against you when you doubt is the same precision that works for you when you maintain your assumption. The law is always working with perfect accuracy. Working with this precision requires a complete understanding of how consciousness operates during these 72 hours. Your every thought, your every inner conversation, your every feeling must align with your assumption with the same precision that a mathematician applies to equations. Let me share with you exactly how to maintain this precise alignment. When you wake in the morning, your first thought must be from your new state. When you go about your day, your inner conversations must reflect your assumption. When you fall asleep at night, you must sleep as though your desire is already fulfilled. Many of you approach manifestation with a mixture of old and new states, shifting between doubt and belief, between old patterns and new assumptions. But I tell you this, the law requires precision. You cannot serve two masters. You must choose your assumption and maintain it with unwavering fidelity. Consider this when a watchmaker assembles a timepiece. Every gear, every spring, every component must be precisely aligned. A single misaligned piece affects the entire mechanism. The same is true of your consciousness during these 72 hours. Every aspect must be in perfect alignment. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your mental discipline. You become acutely aware of your thoughts, your inner conversations, your reactions. You recognize that each mental movement either supports or undermines your assumption. Let me tell you something crucial about this precision. It extends to your emotional state as well. You must feel with the same precision that you think. The feeling of your wish fulfilled must be so precise that it becomes your dominant emotional state. Here's a profound truth about working with this precision. It requires constant vigilance during these 72 hours. You cannot afford mental laziness or emotional indulgence in the old state. Every moment must be lived from your new assumption with mathematical precision. Think about this. Just as a scientist in a laboratory must maintain precise conditions for an experiment to succeed, you must maintain precise conditions in consciousness for your assumption to manifest. There can be no contamination from doubts, no dilution with fears. The very precision that makes this law seem demanding is what makes it infallible. When you maintain your assumption with mathematical accuracy, the law must respond with equal precision. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me.